Get our recording. Hi, everybody. My name is Kathy Chiero, and I know I've met a lot of you at seminars, and I just want to thank you for joining our seminar tonight. We have great interest in this topic because a lot of you are considering moving to a condo. So we wanted to get a panel of experts on tonight to just talk to you about all the aspects of living in a condo, buying a condo, living under the rules of a condo. What does an association do? What does a management company do, so that you can leave tonight having a really good education on what condo living is. I want to introduce you to some of our speakers tonight, just to let you know who's here with me tonight. Really, I'm so grateful for their expertise, because all of these people are at the top of their game in Central Ohio for condo living. We have with us tonight Debbie Johnson. She's one of the top salespeople for Epcon Communities. And while Epcon has really gone through so many generations of building in the condo community, they are still the name for condos in Central Ohio. So Debbie's going to share with us about new builds. I also have with me Arnold Barzak. Arnold is the CEO of a management company that manages over 11,000 units, which means that he has several boards, condo boards within his management team. He's going to address that end. I'm thrilled tonight to have the president of a condo board here. Angie Hollerick is with us, and she's going to talk about just the day-to-day life in a condo and what the board is for, and your role as a resident, that sort of thing. And then I've invited a friend of mine, and a very good friend of mine, Carla Laborde, is here. She actually did downsize from a house to a condo, and I've asked her to share with us about that transition. What is it like living in a condo, and is it a move that she's been pleased with? So all of these will be on tonight, and we also will have an opportunity to answer your questions. If you will click on the chat button, once again, if you'll keep yourself muted, but click on the chat button and put your questions in the chat. We have a member of my team here tonight that's monitoring those questions, and we'll make sure they get answered before the end of the meeting. Speaking of that, I have, as far as I can tell, 3 of my team members on tonight. Mary, if you want to wave. Mary works with me in Downsize Columbus. Brandon is somewhere in there. Brandon is the man behind the curtain. He makes sure everything stays rolling on my team. Andy Norris is here. Andy, you want to wave for us there? Andy's one of our agents. So again, I have a great team here in Central Ohio, and they're integral to serving you and serving you right. So I want to start out by talking about condo living itself. I want to talk about what is available in Central Ohio, what kinds of properties you can expect, and the cost of them. Condo living, first of all, let's talk about what is available in Central Ohio. If you went out today and said, I want to buy a condo in 2023, what does your money buy in different areas of town? What can you expect to spend? And what do those properties look like? Brandon, is my share okay here?
Yep, good to
You guys
go.
can see it? Okay, good. So first of all, let's talk about what condos are, what it means. When we talk about condos, they can be either freestanding or attached, meaning there's a shared wall. The definition of a condo is you own the interior of your individual unit. You do not own the land that your unit is on, and you do not own the exteriors. The dirt common areas are owned by the association of which you are a member, and then you have a monthly fee that pays for on a true condo, that pays for all exterior maintenance of the common areas. It pays for the exterior of your unit. Many times that means the walls, the roof, the concrete, although each association might have some different things. And then, of course, you get your lawn mowed and snow removal, some minor landscaping such as mulch and trimming of bushes, things like that. But essentially, the lifestyle value of a condo is that you could lock the door and leave for 3 months, and your lawn and the exterior of your home is taken care of. I have noted here that what I just described is what I call full maintenance condo associations, and I call the others maintenance light. Some associations are getting away from the full maintenance of your unit. They will still do some of the exterior, but some of it is your responsibility. And I'm not going to get way into the weeds in that, but when you are shopping for condos, you really need to kind of know, what do I want? Do I go to Florida 6 months a year, so I really want no exterior maintenance of my home? Or do I just want someone to mow the lawn and shovel snow, but I'd still love to do my own gardening, and I want to be able to fix the railing on my porch if it needs to be fixed, that sort of thing. You see two pictures there. The one on the left is what I call a suburban condo. The one on the right is what I call a downtown condo. If you've been to downtown Columbus recently, you see those going up everywhere. There, you cannot differentiate between that. You can't tell from the outside, are they apartments or condos, but most of those going up are high-end, very, very nice condos. So again, you can't tell necessarily by looking, but there is a wide range of the kind of condos that you could find in Central Ohio. Patio homes, you'll hear them called by different names. They're sometimes called cluster homes, garden homes, or carriage homes. Generally, now again, if you saw a patio home sitting next to a freestanding condo, you wouldn't be able to tell them the difference. And the reason is the difference is not in the style of the property. The difference is in ownership and what you maintain and what you have control of and what you have to do if you are the owner of that condo. It does not necessarily make much difference. They're both often going to have associations that have pretty stringent rules in living there. For example, if you said, I like that house, but I want to paint my front door purple, whether it's a patio home or a condo, you're probably going to get a pink slip on your door because there's a rule against that. So again, they are still rule-driven communities, but they are patio homes give you more, have more maintenance and more updates that are your responsibility as opposed to the fee you pay to the association. So they can look like freestanding condos. They're usually one story with smaller lots. We call it zero lot line, meaning they don't have big yards. The monthly fee covers lawn care and snow removal. Exterior maintenance is often the responsibility of the homeowner. So the difference is going to be that the fees are generally much lower, whereas your fees on a full maintenance condo may be $400, $450. The fees on a patio home, which is largely exterior and common area maintenance, may be as low as $200 a month. While there are common areas, the owner generally holds no ownership interest in the common areas. When you have a patio home, there might be green space, they might be ponds and fountains, but generally you do not have an ownership interest, even though you're a member of the association. So what do they have in common? You say a patio home or condo or what I call maintenance light condos, what do they have in common? Number one, they have simplicity of lifestyle. That's the main reason people move to this style of housing, is they don't want to mow the lawn anymore. They don't want to have to shovel snow in the winter. They want to be able to maybe travel more or leave and go places. In other words, the fun of home ownership is gotten old. And now they're saying, look, I want to move somewhere where I don't have to do anything but maybe change my own light bulbs in the house and everything else around me is taken care of. I want to wake up on a January morning and hear a snowblower and know that it's not me having to do it. So it's simplicity of lifestyle. They generally will all have fees, monthly fees. So if you tell me, I really like those beautiful Epcon homes that are going up all over, but I really don't want to pay fees or I don't want the rules involved, then you are not a candidate for condo living. They are going to have what we call declarations and bylaws, which are the rules of living there, and they are going to have fees, common fees that everybody pays to cover the maintenance of the properties, the beauty of the property, and the common areas of the community, which might even have a pool and a clubhouse, things like that. Your fees go to that. They are independent yet communal living with agreed upon standards of design and personal conduct. So you are fully independent. You do not have to join the pickleball group down the street. You don't have to go to the club night. You don't have to do any of that. So you can have independent living there, yet by signing on the dotted line at closing, you are agreeing that you will live by the rules of that association, and you will keep your home under the rules of what it has to look like and what you can and can't do on the outside. All the way down to the numbers on your mailbox. There's a restriction on that. What kind of windows can you put in your home when you replace your windows? They've got a style of window you have to put in, because anything that can be seen from the outside has to go along with the agreed upon standards of design and personal conduct. So if you are a free spirit and you want the freedom to do whatever you want to do with your home, you really need to think twice about condos. If you are someone who said, look, I was a free spirit in 1973, I had my my house with cactus and dandelion out front, now I just want simplicity of living, then condos can be for you. Purchasing a condo or patio home is not just a floor plan choice, it's a lifestyle choice. It's a decision to slow down, simplify, declutter your home, your heart, and your lifestyle. It really is a decision to simplify your life. You just happen to be moving to a different style of home to do that. So what do they cost in our community? Well, there's a lot of variables. I will start by telling you that if you want to live in the suburbs of Columbus, virtually anywhere, you generally, to get a condo, are going to pay a minimum of $300,000, and I think I'm even being generous there. You're most likely going to pay $350,000 and up, depending on the age and style. And many of these properties are now going for $1 million and more for the nicer ones. So let's talk about that. Number one, let's go back. First of all, it depends on the location. It depends on if they're freestanding or shared wall. It depends on if they have a basement. Do they have a 1 or 2 car garage? What is the location within the community? If you back to green space, if you have privacy on one of your sides, that's going to increase the cost. And then, of course, the interior upgrades. What has that homeowner done on the interior of their home that might make that home more expensive than the one down the street? That's very similar to single family homes. If somebody's done some beautiful updates inside, that unit is going to cost more. So let's talk about the most basic ones out there. These are homes that were on the market. I just pulled them off the MLS to give you an idea. All of these sold within the last year. This one on the left, it was built in the early 1990s. It's 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It has a 1-car garage. It has no basement. It's between 1,400 and 1,500 square feet. It is in the Westerville area. What you'll find on many of these is that while they are geographically in the suburbs, they are purposely built in Columbus schools to keep your taxes down. And this one is actually in Columbus schools, but it has a Westerville mailing address. That one sold for $229,500 last October. It was very dated. It needed everything replaced inside, but it was about as inexpensive as you get. This one was in Grove City. Again, very similar. In fact, if you look at it, it's the same builder. Debbie, are these Epcons? Can you tell? They are Epcons. That's what I thought. Epcon's been around since the late 1980s, and they've built communities all over central Ohio. So again, very, very much the same floor plan. This one was in Grove City, a little bit less expensive at $185,700. Now we're getting a little fancier and a little bigger. This one right here was a 2-bedroom, 2.5-bath, 2-car garage, no basement, 1,700 to 1,900 square feet. It's in the Olentangy Schools, Lewis Center area. That one sold for $340,000, and again, within the last 6 months. The one below it was a similar floor plan in Pataskala, $330,000 in the last within the last several months. Now we're getting quite nice. This one is a Hilliard area. This is a freestanding condominium. It's 3 bedrooms, a den, 2.5 baths, 2-car garage. This one does have a basement. It's 1,800, generally run 1,800 to 2,200 square feet. This was in Hilliard Schools, and it was $450,000. These are getting into what I call the Rolls Royce of living. You are not compromising virtually anything to move into these. All you are walking away from is a lot of the exterior maintenance of these properties. This is a similar one in Powell. Again, freestanding, does have a garage, and that one was also $450,000. Then we get into the really nice ones, and these are ones that if you drove by would look like mansions or single family homes, but they are members of a condo association. This one on the left was in Dublin, and it's 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, a 3-car garage. It has a basement, and it's on the golf course, and it's $670,000. The monthly fee on that property was $811 a month. For that association. Down in below was a Grove City example of largely the same thing. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2-car garage, does have a basement on the golf course in Grove City, $540,000 there. So what you've seen, and again, I capped this out at $670,000, I think, hold on. Yeah. In 2023, a lot of these properties can now go up to over $1 million depending on where they're located. So what about the interiors? I've shown you kind of what the outsides look like. Let's start. This is the great room. And if you're going to go under 200,000 or in that very low end range, what you can see is that it's very basic. You're going to have one living area, great room, usually with a vaulted ceiling. They get a little bit nicer as you go to 400,000. You start seeing some more architectural detail. You see a fireplace. You see some here. You've got some of that shiplap on the walls. It starts getting a little bit nicer. As you can see, this has hardwood floors. So again, you're reaching up to about 400,000. And then when you get to this price point of the 700 range, you're really just moving into another newer home is what you're doing, but you are letting go of a lot of the maintenance, which is why you take on the monthly fees. Kitchens, again, you can start down here, your very basic kitchen in the lower end condominiums. Get a little bit nicer with under 400,000. And then again, when you get very nice, you're looking at the 500,000 to 700,000 range to get the really luxury kitchens. So, and then the owner's suite is also, again, another thing that is people look for. This is under 200,000. You're going to get a basic bedroom, just like you probably have in your own home. Once you spend a little more, you're going to get bigger. You're going to get a vaulted ceiling. And then once you get at the high end, you're going to go into things like crown molding, tray ceilings, coffered ceilings. You can get some very nice properties. And the same thing with the bathrooms. You're going to get a standard bath in the low end. Gets a little nicer as you get up near 350, 400, and then very nice when you get up to the 700 range. On most of my clients that buy in this middle range right here. They say, nope, Kathy, I'm not going back to college. I'm not living in that 250, but I can live. These are very nice when you get to the 350, 400, 425. That's a very popular price range in condominiums. Mm-hmm. So I call it the hard but liberating truth. Most of you, the average house size in Central Ohio is about 2,200 square feet. One of the things that you've got to be ready for is that unless you have an unlimited budget, you're going to be going to a much smaller space. And many of these don't have basements. We just saw basements start to be built into condos about time flies. It might be 7 or 8 years ago, but not long. Before that, everything was built on a slab. So you lose that basement storage unless, again, you're going to go for the high-end properties. And so you really have to look at say to myself, how much stuff do I need to get rid of to be able to move forward in buying a condo, and how much space can I live in? I've kind of color coded this. If you are in the 200 to 300 range, you're going to be looking at 1,500 square feet or smaller for the most part. If you're in the 300 to 450 range, you can bump up to 1,700 to 1,900 square feet. And if you can go up 450 or higher, you can go to 1,900 square feet and bigger, depending on your budget. But again, most of us, when we downsize, are looking at getting rid of 3, 4, sometimes 5 rooms of stuff, and unpacking a basement. And I'm gonna, when I have Carla on here, I'm gonna ask her about that, because I know they went through that, selling a big home and having to move to a smaller space. So, and then we talk about those fees. The fees can vary widely. They can be from $70 a month to $500 plus, depending on what you're paying for, the amenities and services. And so when you go shopping for your condo, what you need is, you really need to talk to a real estate team or realtor who understands all the various aspects of condos, really helps you define what is it you want in a condo, what is it that you want to pay for and don't want to pay for. You know, some of you say to me, I'll never use the pool. My grandkids don't live in Columbus. I'll never use the pool. I'll never use a clubhouse. Well, then we can narrow your search to only those associations that don't have a pool and clubhouse, so that you're not paying for them if you're not using them. Some of you say, look, you know what? My kids graduated from New Albany. I don't want to pay the taxes anymore. I only want a condominium that's in a lower tax base. We can do that for you. We can find it. But a lot of it is sitting down with you and saying, what kind of lifestyle do you want to buy? What are you willing to do and not do to, have that lifestyle? What is your price point and what is your geography? And then we can narrow down. Just today, I have a client who I met with last week. The daughter is helping her mom buy a condo. And I said to them, okay, this Saturday, I'm going to go pick you up. She's probably a year away from buying. But I said, I'm going to go pick you up and we're going to drive, and I'm going to drive you through these communities and tell you how much they are, so you can begin to get a sense of what's available. And that's what you need, because there is a huge variety, and there's a huge, both of what they look like, what they cost, and then what your obligation is in that. So before we, again, if you have questions, put them in the chat. I want to introduce Debbie Johnson with Epcon. Debbie, let me take mine down here. If you would take this over, and what I'd like you to address is about new builds. What does it look like? And especially for this 55 and over group, what is being built into these condos to make their lifestyle easier? You need to unmute yourself, Debbie.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, perfect. So the new builds with Epcon, we really do a lot of research on the needs of clientele. We primarily sell to 55 and over. The 3 reasons that our homeowners primarily look at Epcon is because a lot of our homeowners, even though they're used to a lot of space, they still want a comfortable space, but they don't want to feel like they're in a small apartment. So all of our homes have the open range floor plans. We still have beautiful outdoor space. So if they still want a garden, they don't want just a little concrete slab, they still have a lot of spacious area. But most importantly, again, it's the low maintenance. When we build our homes, we build them primarily designed for people that are looking at retirement. So still very nice open kitchens, all of the lighting that you see. As we age, we lose our ability to see light. So all of our transom windows are standard. We have lighting in all of our rooms. Our homes are designed so the homes kind of wrap around your courtyard, so you have a view of your outdoor space. Most importantly, we have universal design in our homes. So all of our doors and hallways are wider. They're wheelchair accessible. There are no steps. So coming from our front door, from the driveway all the way into the front door, coming in through the garage, all the way into the shower, there are no steps. Our homes are designed so that you can age and live in place. You know, we've got cooktops, wall ovens, everything is designed to alleviate the bending, to have extra space. So as we age, if we ever do become disabled, or if we have parents that is disabled or grandchildren, you never have to worry about that.
Mhm. Debbie, can I ask you a quick question
Yeah.
on that? I had somebody ask me recently if they can build in handicapped accessible items into the home, like the grab bars in the bathrooms and that sort of thing. Do you do any of that, or is that an aftermarket thing that they could do?
No, absolutely. So when Epcon built our homes, we put an additional backing in the walls 3 feet all the way around next to all the toilets and all the showers that we build. If you want to purchase them at our design center, so if you're building from new, you have the option to purchase grab bars and items like that at the design center. So when you move in, they're already there. But just know if you are purchasing an Epcon, that is a resale, that backing is going to be in the wall. So if you do need to add them at any time, you don't have to have somebody come in there, rip all the tile out and replace them. It's already going to be installed there.
Okay, go ahead with what you were going to
And so
say.
this is some of the outdoor space. Even though we're downsizing, the one thing that people want to get away from is, mowing and raking leaves and doing all that landscaping, but they still want some outdoor space that they can personalize. So our courtyards are designed with everything low maintenance. You can see puppy pee pads with turf, and everything is designed so it's low maintenance. You can still have
Hey,
shrubs
Debbie,
and turf and all that and feel like you still
Debbie,
have a beautiful home.
Debbie,
Yes,
we're not seeing. Are you sharing something? Because we're not seeing it. So are you
you
sharing?
can see the PowerPoint.
No, I can't. Could anybody else see it? I don't think so. Okay,
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
let me see.
can you see it
There,
now?
there you go. Now we can.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was just showing, let me go back then. I was just showing the open floor plans here with all of the natural light. So you can kind of get an idea of how much space is in them. I was showing the outdoor courtyards here with the turf. So you can still have lots of area. I always say that with Epcon, it's a community that we sell, and the house kind of comes with it. It's designed so you have a private courtyard, but it's still like a park-like setting. So if you choose to be private, you've got all this private space. If you want to be social, you can go sit on your front porch, but tons and tons of outdoor space here. And as I was mentioning, we take care of the mowing, we take care of the landscaping, we take care of raking the leaves and shoveling the snow. That includes your driveway and all of your common areas as well. And I just kind of want to show some of the different things that we do as well. It is definitely a lifestyle. All of our communities have clubhouses, pickleball, bocce ball, pools, community gardens, and multiple different types of groups. As you can see, this was just an opening at one of the communities that I did one day. We did a muddy boot tour as the residents were moving in, and we went around so you could meet your neighbors. It truly is a community. I understand a lot of people want to downsize, but being in a house on a street is a lot different. And a lot of people say, well, I may never use the clubhouse. I may never use the pool, because you don't have one now. But this is a great way to get to meet your neighbors. And even if you've just been widowed or if somebody is sick, you have a support team. I mean, we do wind down Wednesdays, football tailgate parties, food trucks, movie nights, casino nights. There's bourbon clubs, book clubs, craft clubs, walking groups, pickleball leagues, water aerobics. We do Friendsgivings during Thanksgiving, New Year's Eve dances and brunch clubs, just to name a few. So these are a lot of the things that you get when you're in a community like this. You don't get these things if you're living alone in a home in a street or a community that doesn't have amenities. So when you're looking at, it truly is a lifestyle change. When you're looking at zero entry, when you're looking at down the road, if I don't want any steps, and all of our homes are going to start off as 2-bedroom. You'll have 2 bedrooms on the first floor, is the zero entry, a 2.5 car garage at minimum, your kitchen, living room, laundry, your outdoor space, all of that. You can get basements in some of them if you wish, but a lot of people just want to get away from streets or from steps completely. So with the garages all being 2.5 car garage, it gives you an extension, and some of our floor plans even offer an extended garage. So you can have all that storage on one floor. You don't have to worry about, going up and down steps. And we do offer above the garage storage there where you can walk around as well. But they're really designed with the thought process that you can age and live independently there. And then again, these are just some of the items that I was speaking, our homes range, we have 13 floor plans. They range anywhere from 1,600 square feet up to 4,000 square feet and 3-car garages. So I will see people that are downsizing from 6,000 square feet or 5,000 square feet. They still have adult children out of state that still come. So they still need 3 bedrooms. So you can always add an additional floor and add a 3rd bedroom. You can also add 3rd bedroom, 3rd bathroom, additional living space. And we do have some communities that even have walkout basements. So maybe you don't want to give up that woodworking and you don't have room in the garage. We have the 3-car garages, or we have walkout basements. But again, everything goes back to the 0 entry all the way through the showers and being able to age in place and have that quality of life. And then here's just another thing, just showing, with the, this was at the BIA night, and we always do the parade of homes, and we walk away with award after award after award. I think last year out of 22 awards, we received 17 for, best outdoor space, best living space, all of that. So it is a quality home, and it's not just what it looks like in the space, but it's what's in the walls. Anybody can build a beautiful home, but you also want a good quality home too. And these are the areas right now that we are actively selling in, if anybody is interested in the Epcon homes. We do have a few new ones that are coming on board, but these are the areas. So you're going to find us all over Ohio and all the way across the United States with 92 franchises as well. Right now, Epcon owns about 40% of the market business in the United States. So you will see that we've been around for a long time, and 55 plus living, that's where everything is at right now. And we're seeing younger and younger coming in. As soon as the kids are leaving for college, they want to be able to lock and leave. They want to be able to travel and enjoy their life. So at this point, they are purchasing the homes now. So as they get to retirement age, they don't have to worry about it. And then I'm sure Anne Marie will cover the heck on butt with the financing we offer. It's very possible to get into these beautiful luxury homes.
A couple of questions I'm getting from chat, and I'll answer the ones I know. Jill asked, is Epcon a rental only? And actually, it's purchase. You purchase these. It is not a rental community at all. Angie asked, do your new builds have tubs? I've heard that a bathtub isn't a must anymore. That's a very good question. Yeah.
That's huge with me. I'm a tub person, but most everybody wants showers nowadays. But every home we build has 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. So you can always do a walk-in shower in one and a tub in the other. You can do two showers if you want. We do have one home, our Provenance, which is our largest home, that has a spa bathroom where it has a huge, the shower can probably get 10 people in it, along with a standalone tub, and it's a true spa experience. And that's a beautiful home too. But yeah, you have the option to do whatever you want. You can do just tubs, just showers, tub and shower combo, whatever you want to do.
The other thing I would, and Debbie, if you take your PowerPoint down, we're going to talk to Arnold here next. The other thing I would say about Epcon condominiums, and again, the reason I'm such a big fan with Epcon is because, number one, they are all over Central Ohio. And they are a builder who has focused on the over 55 community for going on 30 years now. So they, and it's funny, when I showed you the condos, the very old Epcons, and every year they add something because they listened to the community and said, oh, they're saying that we need more storage, or they're saying they need a 3-car garage, or they're saying they need a basement. So they're adding that to their homes to better accommodate the lifestyles of those of us who are looking for that last residence that we're going to live in, and we don't want to compromise from the homes that we have moved to. So thanks, Debbie. And I'll also give a plug for Debbie. Debbie's an incredible representative of Epcon. She just goes above and beyond. I've worked with her several times with her clients, and the clients love her. She's really an advocate for her clients as they build the new property. And so I recommend, if you have any interest at all, just make a quick appointment so she can show you what's available. My next guest today is Arnold Barzak, and Arnold is the CEO of Capital Property Management. Did I say that right, Arnold? Are you here?
It's close. Capital Property Solutions.
Okay, close. I'm sorry. But what Arnold does is he is not on a board. He is the company that manages boards. So, Arnold, I'm going to allow you to sort of introduce yourself. I'm going to bring up your PowerPoint here. So we'll go through it and you can kind of share what you do. And then we're already getting questions about fees and rules and how it's managed and all of that. So we'll make sure that, we cover all that here. Hold on, let me bring up Arnold here. All right, let's come up here. Can you guys see that? It says Association Living.
I can see it.
Okay, good. Go ahead, Arnold. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. Appreciate the invitation. Capital Property Solutions has been in business for 32 years now, and me personally been in the industry for 13. Managed 50, 60 different associations throughout the period of time, and it's amazing to see the difference between even similarly built condo associations and where the direction is that they go. We're just, I say, passionate about association living. There is a negative connotation in the market, and it's because it's not for everybody, but I think everybody on this call is doing the right thing by educating yourself and learning about what it is, because it really is a rewarding experience for those people that it's for. And so, next slide, please. What is the purpose of association living? It really is hassle-free living, and I think Kathy hit the nail on the head when she said simplicity of lifestyle. It's freedom. It's not perfection. It's not somebody where you just pay a little bit of money into the association and then you expect that the lawn care, the snow removal, the condition of the property to be maintained to a state that you want it to be. So getting that freedom and that simplicity of lifestyle, that hassle-free living, does come at a small cost if that's for you and you want to travel and not have to worry about those things. What does it take to be successful in associations? This is where it is. It's a two-parter. It's an owner has to be engaged in the community, but the community has to be engaging with all of the owners. So the top element of that is communication. The community has to be open and engaging, providing lots of communication, newsletters, meeting minutes, financials for the association members so that you can be informed about what's going on. The most common complaint we hear is we don't know what's going on with this association. And so the association does need to do their part. But what I say, and I'll repeat it throughout this process, is an owner must read the information the association sends out, emails, newsletters. You should have an email address. The association's not going to simply send out a letter to one person because they refuse to have an email. So you have to have a little bit of give and take in this. I also think that you have to attend every event that you can. If they're open board meetings, your annual meetings, any kind of social events. It doesn't mean you have to join a committee. It doesn't mean you have to be on the board of directors, but just read and attend so that the communication that is being distributed is being, it kind of builds on itself. What happens at your budget meeting is going to have follow-up information throughout the year about the projects that are being done and the delays that are occurring and the costs and whatnot. So the next element is transparency. Kind of mentioned it. What is going on at the meetings? Where are those meeting minutes posted? Are the financials available? Are we reviewing the budget? Are contracts available, or at least job scopes? Because what that does is build trust. How can you have freedom in your association and freedom in your lifestyle if you don't trust the association? So this is where you have to do your part. You have to read, you have to attend, you have to engage in the community. And then it is really important and to some degree, not really within your, let's say, capabilities, is to make sure that the community is also engaging in you. So this is where talking to a real estate agent and not just comparing the units and the elements that the unit has, the main piece that you're purchasing, but also what are the reviews of this association? What are residents saying about the community? And is this, because this is a very, very big piece of the puzzle is the actual association you're purchasing. Third element is expectations. Today, you're doing a great job. You're educating yourself on what an association means to live in. And so that's number one. What does it mean? Educating yourself on what does the effect of a pool have on property values and association do? Really, for the most part, one of the expectations that I like to impress upon people is that unless you're on the board of directors, you really don't make decisions in the community. And that's bothersome for some people. And if you are not able to give up some of that decision-making ability, then you're not going to really enjoy living in an association. Two examples of that, very common, grass, right? If you've been mowing your yard for the last 40 years and you have certain expectations about how much fertilizer you'd put on there, the shrubbery that you have, an association may not be where you want to go. It may be where you just hire a landscaper and then you have more control over that landscape service. Same with snow removal. Snow removal may be taken care of for you, but is it at a 2-inch threshold, a 3-inch threshold, is it a 0 threshold? So, you may be really happy with the snow removal service, but upset about the cost because 0 threshold snow removal costs about 3 to 4 times the cost of a 2-inch threshold. So it's just understanding really what does it mean to give up some of that control of your lifestyle to earn that freedom and gain that freedom in your life. Board and management company. I just wanted to talk a little bit about deciphering between the two. The board of directors is that decision-making body of your home and your community, and you get the opportunity to vote for them. So just like any election for public officials, there's a meeting and a vote takes place. So listening and understanding who in the community has your best interest at heart. The management company is really there to take that core vision that the board creates on a, let's say, year-to-year, a 5-year plan, and implement it. The management company does not have any ownership interest in the common elements. We don't make decisions for the association. If the clubhouse closes at 9 p.m. Every day of the week, that's a board decision that they made based off of information that they were given about condition and care in the community, maybe cost. So really it's just understanding that the management company is really there to support the board. The management company is also not really an assistant or working on behalf of any homeowners as in general. Yes, we answer phone calls. Yes, we answer emails, but a lot of those emails and phone calls we're going to be directing to the board of directors at that next regularly scheduled meeting so that they can discuss the issue and make an informed decision. And so with that quote unquote bureaucratic element to it, the changes in a community could be somewhat slow, but to the benefit of the association, I think that slow change is beneficial because you don't want to have an inconsistent living environment where you really don't know what's going on at any point in time. I do encourage anybody that is, whether you're new to an association or been at an association for 5-10 years, you will add value as a board member. It is way too common for an association to have board members that have been on the board for 10, 15 years. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but it, to be fair to them also, it would be great if they could give up some of that pressure and time and enjoy the freedom that they deserve by living in a community. You learn a ton as a board member, and so it is highly recommended to be a board member. I put a slide up here about just some general governing documents. It's very important to, at minimum, have an understanding of what your declaration and bylaws are. So your declaration is what defines the association. What is a unit? What are you responsible for versus what the association is responsible for? The bylaws is a document that tells you and explains how the board is operated. So the terms of the board, when the annual meetings are going to take place, what kind of notice is there. Another example where people get upset is that the annual meeting may say that it has to take place in the first quarter of the year. And owners are upset that they're in Florida that time of year and they can't attend the meeting. It does, the board should follow those governing documents, and at that point there are ways to be a proxy or maybe attend the meeting as maybe an electronic attendee. But it's not something that you should get upset about the people in the association. It's part of the governing documents, and so reading those before you purchase the condo is an important element. I talked about my screen flashing. I don't know if everybody else's is. So I apologize if my slideshow was a little too big with movement and whatnot. But the handbook, understanding a handbook, each association is going to have a different handbook. But then enforcement of rules. So this is where people start to love or hate, and it really is a very left-sided and very right-sided element of association living is the enforcement of rules. How picky is the association going to be, and how impersonal is the process? And again, outlined in your declaration is the enforcement procedures. It's not about knocking on someone's door and telling them that there's an issue that is out of compliance. If I go and knock on everybody's door that has an issue, some people may appreciate it and some people think that I'm really harassing them. So, we have to keep ourselves safe as managers. So we really do try to email and mail those kind of pieces of information. There is an element of tracking and an element of legal regard that we have to have when affecting enforcement of association rules. But I think most of the time when an owner has an issue with rules, it's because they simply didn't know. And so last element on mine is really just a summary of my thoughts on association living, but it's that it's all about being engaged in the community by reading what's presented, by showing up to the meetings, by asking the right questions. Again, you don't have to spend time on the being on a board or anything like that, but just being a part of understanding what the community really is. It will enable you that freedom that you're seeking when getting into a condo association. It is very, I think, a very rewarding way of life. And the more you know about it, the more you understand it, the more fun you'll have and the more trust you'll have in what the community is offering you. And
Arnold, and again, I apologize, the slide sharing on my end, it's my fault. We're doing it right, but your information is incredible, Arnold. I thank you for that. The distinction between the management and the board. We had a few questions. One of them I'll answer here. TJ and Mary Kay said, how easy is it to see the declarations and bylaws before a purchase is made? You absolutely have the right. In fact, our contract, our Columbus Board of Realtors contract says that not only do you get to see the declarations and bylaws, you are entitled to look at the minutes from the three most recent board meetings. And the reason that's important is that if people are going to, Angie will tell us in a moment, if people are going to complain, it's at the board meeting. So if you want to know what's going on and what the good, the bad, and the ugly is, read those minutes. You have the right to review the financials of the association to make sure that it is financially stable. So all of those are as important as a home inspection. When you're buying a condo, inspecting those. So many times as a realtor, what we will do is even when you're considering the condo, we'll go ahead and get the declarations and bylaws for you so you can read those rules and see if any of them are in conflict with what you want to do. And also when you buy a new build, the new build salesperson should have for you the declarations and bylaws for communities. Now, sometimes they're in process because it's a brand new community. And as Arnold says, the board has the right to do whatever rules they want. So you might have one community that says that you can only have one dog, and a half mile away is another community that says you can have two dogs. So again, it is largely up to the actual board of the community that you are thinking of living in. They are not universal. There are a lot of universal elements that have to do with parking and noise and what you can do on the outside of your building, but they are not universal in that the board has the right to do specific things as requested and voted on by their community. So with that, Arnold says also too that they are recorded at the county recorder's office, so you can get them online if you want to take a look at the rules of a community before you even go visit it. Arnold, let me ask you this, and I know that it's different board by board, but you said something at the beginning that I felt was really important, and that is that the rules in place in a community are there for the value and the betterment of the community. So are there some things that are pretty universal that you're going to find in most condo communities?
There's a lot of consistency. There's only a handful of law firms that are drafting these documents anyways. And so if you look close enough, sometimes you'll see the wrong name in a set of declaration or bylaws. So, and with that being said, they also have to stick within what the Ohio Revised Code section 5311 has, which is the state law that enables associations to be a thing. So a lot of consistency in them. But with that being said, how the enforcement takes place, let's call it the specifications of maintenance are all up to the board. So an owner may call me and say, the association is responsible to paint my fence. And the answer is yes, they are. But that doesn't mean they paint them every 3 years. They may paint them every 7 years.
When I represent a buyer on a condominium and they do a home inspection, and they'll say, Kathy, here's 7 things on the outside of the condominium that my home inspector says needs to be fixed. What I make sure they understand is we can make that request to the association, but they are not a landlord. The association is not going to run out with a paintbrush and paint the chipping paint on the fence around your patio because the home inspector said it needs to be done. They're going to respond by assuring us that it is their responsibility, and they may even be organized enough to look at their calendar and said, yep, fence painting is coming up spring of 2024. So it is on a schedule. And sometimes that's frustrating to those of you who are homeowners and used to clipping your lawn with your scissors and, carrying a paint can around with you and looking for peeling paint. That can be very frustrating to be told that, yes, we see the peeling paint or the cracked concrete or this, but it's not on the schedule yet to fix. So some of that can be frustrating for homeowners. And again, that's one of the things you have to really look at and recognize that you're buying into a whole different lifestyle than pure single family home ownership. Our next guest tonight lives in a condo, and she also is the president of a board of a condo. So Angie, welcome. And before we get to your board duties, tell me about your decision to move into a condo, and what you're hearing tonight, did you have to go through a lot of that in making that decision?
Yes. My husband and I, 26 years ago, we've lived in our condo community, and we were in our 50s, and we were wanting to move out our house and wanting to have a home to die in. We wanted to purchase something that we could stay in if we had any medical issues. So when I did the search, and as many of you may or may know, if you have a spouse that doesn't want to be involved in all that search, I had different criteria. My criteria for purchasing the condo was it needed to have a 2-car garage. I did want a lower level. It had to be within our price range and in a up and coming area. So I took it upon myself to search. And when I found, we live in a qual stand community over near Gahanna, Blended Park condominiums, and it had everything. It checked off all of my list. Now we have been there 26 years. And I must admit that I didn't do as much investigating on what it meant to be living in a condo. However, we have adapted to that. I think more than my husband. About back in 2008, my husband retired and wanted to move to Florida. I didn't want to move because I'm a corporate trainer and I wanted to be here in town and I wanted to be around family. So he moved to Florida for 8 years. And he'd come up and I'd go down, but we had the advantage of having a condo that I didn't have to worry about mowing the grass and when we were gone or taking care of anything. So that was how I got here. And I love our community. It's a really wonderful community. It's large. We have 550 units. It is huge.
So Angie, let me ask you, as president of a board, and if you're talking to this audience who's thinking about moving into the condo, what are the main points that you think they need to know if they're going from a single family home into a condo? What should they be prepared for?
I would get the bylaws and declarations and I would read them. It's attorneyese, so you might have to decipher some of the information. I would also get the current handbook and for sure the financials. I would also ask for the most recent reserve study. A reserve study in a community provides the decision makers, the board, the information on what future expenses will be experienced and how many years and what basically it will cost. So as a board, one of our responsibilities is to make the annual budget and determine the monthly assessments. And we have a fiduciary responsibility to be sure that not only are we meeting day-to-day expenses, but that we are meeting future expenses. And because our community is 26 years old, we are having to save for new siding. And this year we are painting and repairing all of the units. And then in 8 years, our reserve study says that we have to have enough money to replace all of the siding, which is about $6-7 million. So on our reserve study, having the painting and repairs was this year. So what we are hoping will happen, now we are making an assumption, is that if we do this painting and clean up now, that we might be able to push that replacement of the siding back a couple years.
Angie,
go ahead.
I'm going to ask you a question because this hits to the heart of what a lot of people on this call are afraid of, and that's the fees and will they increase? Let me give you a scenario I saw last fall, and I want you to tell me as a board president what went wrong here.
Okay.
There was a condo association in Gahanna. I was listing the condo. We had it on the market a month, and the homeowner called me and he said, Kathy, this was in October. He said, Kathy, I got a letter in the mail today from the association. They have not been collecting enough dues over the years, and now there's a new board president who's actually done the due diligence that you're talking about, and sorry everyone, we need $14,000 from you, and we need $7,000 on January 1 and $7,000 on June 1st. Now, I don't know how many people could get a letter in the mail and have a need. Tell me what went wrong with that board. And this homeowner said to me, well, you know, the daffodils have all looked really nice. In other words, we got great flowers in our gardens, but what went wrong that the residents are now hit with a $14,000 bill?
And what also they got were really happy residents that the board didn't increase the monthly assessment the way they should have.
Right, exactly.
See, a lot of, go ahead.
I was going to say, a lot of people say, well, gosh, I don't want to go somewhere that they could raise the fees. In this case, they should have raised the fees gradually starting 10 years ago. And
Yes.
because they didn't, they ended up getting hit with this fee. So again, I interrupted you, but explain how
That's
that
right.
works and why that's important.
Well, it is important. And here's the problem, Kathy. When you go on a board, if you're a new board member, you're pretty green. And you have to make an assumption, and you know what they say about assuming, that the previous board has done their fiduciary responsibility. And if they have not, then the current board is the board that has to make those tough decisions. And I think that what all of your participants want to understand is the board is also an owner. So they have a vested interest also. So we're not going to make a decision. We don't want to raise the fees, the assessments. That isn't what we want to do. But if that has not been done, then we have to make up the difference from when they weren't fiduciary in the past years. So as a board member, it is our responsibility to make sure that we are paying our bills, make sure that we have our contracts and doing the everyday, the maintenance, the lawn care, the snow removal. We do a spring asphalt cleaning. We do a spring and fall gutter cleaning. We have maintenance requests all the time from individuals, and like I said, our building is old. So I was visiting someone the other day and I stepped up on her step to come on the porch, and her step is loose, has fallen away from the porch. And I said, have you put in a work request for that? Because not only, it's dangerous if she was an elderly person, and I said, you don't want to fall. So we are getting maintenance requests and maintenance needs all the time. So as a board, we not only have to do our annual budget, which Arnold and CPS and our property manager put together for us, and then we have a treasurer. They all get together and develop the annual budget, but then we have to have money in our reserve account to avoid that special assessment. Nobody wants to say it. A special assessment is not special. A special assessment is we're going to have more money. And so I think that is hard for people to understand. And some of the things that I was hearing Arnold say, that they have really been a great asset to us. We, in my tenure on the board, we've had since I've lived here, we've had 5 property management companies. And CPS has by far been the best for us. We have a great property manager who's on site. Because we're so big, we have an on-site property manager. And Arnold may want to discuss how that works. Most of the time they aren't on site, but because we're so big. I was not voted on the board. I was asked to be on the board about 8 years ago because we had people falling off the board. And so the current president asked me and our treasurer if we would serve on the board. He had asked me before and I kept turning it down. But Kathy, one of the biggest things for me as a board member is I want to make sure that my property is accumulating in value. We're older. We have a lot of competition out there if people want to purchase condos. We don't have that fancy vaulted ceiling. We don't have that great room. We are part of that condo community in the typical galley kitchen. We don't. And that's okay. We like it where we live. We've remodeled and we've updated. That's why I asked about the tub, because I'm considering getting rid of the tub. But we are having Intel come about 10 miles down the road. And, I'm hoping that will appreciate our value, but it won't if people drive through our community and see it looking weeded and people doing things that they don't need to do. I mean, yes, it's frustrating when you get a letter saying you can't have sunflowers or you can't have a garden in your backyard. It is frustrating, but you have to have consistency because we are attached to each other. Our units have five, our buildings have 5 units. So I could have mine look really nice and my neighbor is all junky and I'm wanting to sell my unit and someone is thinking, well, I don't want to live next door to that. So a lot of times those rules and regulations are for the betterment of the community. However, I'm a control freak. That's why I'm on the board. However, we have a lot of people in the community who are control freaks, and you can please some of the people some of the time, but you cannot please all of the people all of the time.
What would you say, Angie, is the if someone's thinking of moving into condos? You said you didn't look into actual condo living before you and your husband did it. What are the things you would say? Make sure you look at this. Make sure you look into that. What kinds of things should they be sure of before they make a decision to live in a condo?
I think you need to be sure of read the handbook. Yes, you want to read the bylaws and you want to read the declaration, but the handbook, it gives you a little bit better idea of the do's and don'ts. You can't put a political flag in your yard. You can't put a for sale sign out in your yard. It has to be in your window. You have to make sure that you don't have to have particular type of window coverings, but you don't want to put a sheet over your window either. So there are specific things. Now, the handbook, the board has the ability to change. And so the things that we have changed in the past have been, we didn't allow people to attach things to the building. But now with the Ring camera and security lights and system, we've adjusted that accordingly. We have rules and regulations about decks. You're allowed to have a deck, but it has to be similar. You have to paint the deck the same color as the unit. But all of those exterior maintenance changes have to go through the board. There is a form that you fill out showing what you want to do, and then the board votes accordingly. And there's typically no issue unless they really want to do something outside the realm that will not be consistent looking in the community, or that isn't appealing in the community. You do face, as the board, a lot of unhappy people. You have to have thick skin. You have to understand not to take it personally, and then you have to hope that they understand that a lot of the decisions that we make, we're not able to change. We have an attorney, and most every decision that we make contract wise or that we're not sure of, we always run it through our legal, because we don't want to have any, it's a very litigious society. So we don't want to have a body suing us because they're not happy with the decisions that we make. So we pretty much have to follow the rules. And I think people don't really understand that.
Angie, I appreciate you being on tonight. I know it's a tough job. Some of you who joined the meeting, I told Angie when she got in that being the president of a condo association board next to a toll booth worker is probably the most thankless job out there. It's tough. It's a tough job to be, and we appreciate you're here. I will tell you that if you ask any builder or developer what are the hardest cities to build in, they will tell you New Albany and Dublin, because they are so deed restricted. There's so many restrictions on what you can do and not do. However, if you were to ask a realtor what are the top selling communities in Central Ohio, they will tell you New Albany and Dublin, because those rules are in place to enhance the quality, the look of a community. Yes. The quality of the community. And what Angie said is absolutely right. When I drive into a condo community and I'm showing my client a condo, the first thing I'm going to look at is the grass mowed. Is the asphalt, does it need to be redone inside the community? Do I see hanging shutters? Do I see fences not falling down? Because again, that is an indication to me that this is not a well-managed condo. If I see all that. If you go in, and my dad was in the military, and he used to call it buttoned up. You go into a place like this and it's buttoned up, you know your dues are paying for something. They're making your community look better. They're giving it longer lasting quality, and you're going to see the value of your property increase because of that. So, Angie, thank you for.
Can I say one more thing real quickly? When you're talking about dues, people need to realize that those dues are not only paying for maintenance, but in our community, it pays for our water and our trash.
Yeah.
So make sure that you know what those dues are paying for also. Be proactive, ask the questions before you buy, so you're not surprised or disappointed.
Thank you, Angie. Next guest is my dear friend, Carla. We were neighbors for years, and she called me. How many years have you been in your condo now, Carla?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So we've been here 3 years.
Okay. So
It'll be 3 years in July.
You had a much loved, gorgeous 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath home on a half-acre lot where you raised your kids. Let's talk first of all, what went into the decision of downsizing, and how long did it take you to make that decision?
Well, actually, I had been thinking about it for a little while. My husband wasn't quite on board with it, but we were only living in a very small area of our house. We were living in the family room, the kitchen, our bedroom, which was on the second story, and the garage, using the garage, and then our back patio. So we had been empty nesters for about 6 or 7 years. And we were just, the home maintenance, we knew that it was time to upgrade or move. So we decided to move into the condo that we're currently living in. Our plan was to only be here for a couple of years because we're taking care of my elderly mother and we wanted to stay close by to her. But now here we are 3 years later and we're still here.
So, Carla, tell me about the difficulty of it. What were the hardest things to adjust to when you moved into a condominium?
The adjustments, well, the hardest part really of moving was, and I know you mentioned this oftentimes, is what do I do with all my stuff? That was one of the harder things, was getting rid of everything. I would encourage people to start the process sooner. We kind of did it a little bit rushed, even though we had been thinking about it. But so I would say start sooner, getting rid of all the stuff. The adjustments, some of the things that we're adjusting was wanting to upgrade the outdoor area a little bit, because that was one of the hardest things for my husband to adjust to. We had a beautiful backyard. It was pretty private. The area that we moved into wasn't quite as private, obviously. So we did have to go through some approval from the board to add some landscaping to give us the privacy that we both were more comfortable with. Luckily, we had a board that was conducive to that, and we made the appropriate changes. And now here we are 3 years later, and our little patio is very private, and we really like it.
What was your goal in moving to a condo?
Our goal was to be able to free up. One was to not have a mortgage. So we were fortunate that we don't have a mortgage. And we wanted to free up our funds to be able to travel, be able to do more of the things that we enjoy doing, like kayaking, being able to just take off and not have to worry about having to mow the lawn. And I mean, we had a large yard, and my husband, liked mowing it, but it took 2 to 3 hours to do yard work on a weekend. We were a little younger. We're a little younger in our community. So just being able to go out and do the things that we like to do and not have to worry about setting aside 3 or 4 hours on a weekend to take care of the yard is very nice.
So how has it worked out for 3 years? Do you like your place? Do you feel like it was the right decision for you?
We do. For the most part, we do. we went from a, 2,800 square foot house down to, I think our place is about 1,750. Now we do have a basement, so that has helped because my husband we've made that into a man cave. He works from home, has a home office, so it's down in the basement. So that has worked out very well. We each kind of have our own space. We have an open floor plan, which has helped with, when our kids come over and our family has grown, we now have grandkids. So that has been really nice. Some of the, we have had a change in our board over the last 3 years. So that has been, the board that we currently have, has gone through and kind of, looked at all the different, landscaping things, and they tend to be a little more stringent than the prior board. So we've kind of had to work through that a little bit, but not in a bad way. It's just a little bit different. But we still enjoy that part of it. We haven't gotten as active in the community as we originally thought we would, just because we're both still working and, we have a busy life, with living in Columbus and still taking care of parents and things like that.
So if you're talking to this group, and I'll ask you the same question I asked Angie, now looking behind you and seeing what you did, is there anything you wish you would have checked out or anything you think you would have done differently if you had to do this again today?
I would agree with making sure that you check the handbook. I also agree with and making sure that you read the letters that come to you. We live in a community that is very active. There are several clubs. We have a clubhouse. We have a swimming pool. The swimming pool is awesome because that's the time of the year where we actually get to see our neighbors. But I mean, even living in a home, in a regular neighborhood in a home, I can't tell you how many times our neighbors would go in their house and we wouldn't see them all winter long. And then they come out in the summer and we're like, oh, gee, then what's been going on for the last 4 or 5 months? So that's kind of typical here too. We get to go to the pool. That's when everybody kind of reconvenes and you get caught up on, everybody's travels over the winter and who had grandbabies and, things like that. So that part is enjoyable. I hope I answered your question.
I did. You did. Thank you, Carla. You're terrific. Carla's a good friend, and we have to go to lunch, Carla. So I'll have to.
Yes, we do.
I want to now wrap this up, at least this, with one of the things that we get asked all the time is, I love those beautiful new condos that are being built, but how do people afford those? Because as I said at the beginning, it's getting really, really difficult in suburban Columbus to get in anything new for under 400, and quite frankly it's now going up closer to 500 and more. And if you are like me, you didn't ever think of downsizing as doubling the cost of your house, when you sold. So I asked Marie Stemen to join us tonight. She is with Mutual of Omaha Mortgage. And she is, I'm going to brag on you, Anne Marie, and you have to tell me if I'm lying. But Anne Marie is one of the nation's top specialists in providing the lifestyle home loan, which is a loan only available to homeowners who are 62 or over. And it does open the door to a lot of these homes you thought you couldn't afford. So Anne Marie, I'll let you take it from there.
Thank you, Kathy. Yes, our team here in Dublin, Ohio is actually the #1 in the country, have been for about 10 years running now. So we love what we do. I only work with 62 and older. This product is only available to people that are 62 and older. And I'm going to go through a quick overview of the program because it's really exciting. It gives you so much more leverage in retirement. If you look at people in retirement today, one of the things as you were working through your life, one of the things you kept doing is building. You were climbing this mountain to build as much equity in your home, as many investments as you could, so that when you reach the other side of the mountain, the main thing, all you care about is cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. And the biggest fear in retirement is running out of money. So when you go out looking at these beautiful homes that you want to purchase or would love to live in, and you have sticker shock, there is an option for many of you that is unknown. I'm going to go so far as to say 98% of the country does not even know this program is available or exists. It was signed into law 14 years ago, but as any new mortgage on the market, it's very much in its infancy. It's not advertised and it's not offered by local banks. So how do you learn about it? Well, Mutual of Omaha is the #1 lender in the country, and I have done my best over the last 14 years to offer educational seminars so that you can learn how the program works, because nobody's going to use something they don't understand. And the first thing I hear from everybody, oh my gosh, you're telling me I can buy my house at a discount and never have a monthly mortgage payment. And they just think it sounds too good to be true. There's got to be a catch. Well, I'm here to tell you that there is leverage with this product, and there is no catch other than you have to be 62. It must be your primary residence. It can't be a second home or an investment property. And the cash you bring, that's 60 or 70% that you have to bring of the purchase price, must come from the liquidation of an asset, like the sale of your home, checking, savings. You can't borrow the money that you bring to closing. So if you compare the lifestyle home loan to paying cash, obviously the big challenge when you're paying cash is now you've got a big chunk of your money tied up in your house. It's not growing for you. It's not able to be used by you. And in many cases, you may go out having 400,000 in your mind because you don't want to tap into your investment accounts, and minimum patio homes start at 450. Traditional financing, I know very few people that I've ever worked with in the last 14 years that want a mortgage payment in retirement. And many of them can't even qualify. So they're on a fixed monthly income. Now, this is an option very few people know about. Keep in mind, these numbers change every week as rates change, but this gives you the opportunity to purchase a $450,000 home for $277,000, and you never have a monthly mortgage payment. Now, technically, this buyer has $400,000 to spend. They could actually get into a $700,000 home. So you're increasing your purchasing power with this product. Now, this is a chart. I want you to know that these numbers change weekly. Do not look at this number and think that's set in stone and that's absolutely the way it is. These numbers change weekly. However, this will give you a guideline. This is age-based lending. So it is based on the age of the youngest borrower. So in this case, if the youngest borrower is 70 and they're buying a $450,000 home, they're able to purchase that for around $277,000. I think with interest rates today, it's closer to $283 or something like that, because this changes weekly. But you're able to write that check one time. That's all you've got into that home. And then you never have a monthly mortgage payment. Now, that is a very powerful concept, but you are still responsible for your property taxes, your homeowner's insurance, your HOA, and any maintenance on the home. Unless you're in a condo like we've talked about, where the HOA actually covers the exterior maintenance on the home. Now, why do people use this program? The most obvious thing is you are increasing your purchasing power. But I have a lot of folks that say to me, Anne-Marie, you're showing me how I can free up $200,000. I'm going to take that money. I'm going to put it to work for me outside my house, or that payment you don't make every month. I have other people that say, the heck with that. I just want to travel. I want to do hobbies. I want to spoil my grandkids. So everybody's different in what they do with the freed up cash. There is no right or wrong. I've had several people do different things. These are a couple of my clients. I think it's really important to hear from people that sat where you're sitting, what their thoughts were initially and what they think now that they're in their beautiful new home.
I can tell you there's a way to have a payment or to have your house and have more house than you ever dreamed of having with no payment.
The HECM allowed us to not only get into a new home in an area where we wanted to be, in a house that we wanted to be in, but it allowed us to free up money from the sale of the original house to buy a small condo for our daughter and grandson to be in.
Tell me about a HECM home. And he said, my 62nd birthday, I'm going to go get in. I'm from the school. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is.
Was a bit miraculous that we were able to pull all of that off and still have money to decorate the house the way we wanted and not have a mortgage as we headed into retirement.
Why do we want to put all of our money into a place to live and then have no money to enjoy whatever good mobile ambulatory years we have left?
First of all, we couldn't have afforded a place that nice without replenishing our savings.
The advice that I give to someone who's on the fence about the HECM is nothing has gone differently than what we were told would happen.
It gave us the freedom to still be able to travel, have a nice home, not have to worry about as much financially. So it was like having your cake and eating it too. You can have a beautiful home and still travel and enjoy your retired years.
And we've got $63,000 in upgrades that I never would have thought about.
Because it was a life-changing thing for us.
And we did share it with other prospective
Yes, we
buyers,
have.
too.
Yes, we have.
It's opened up a lot of opportunities for us.
We were able to get a really, really premium home with a lot of great upgrades. And we only had to take less than half of the cash that we had available to the closing, which we're going on a cruise next month. We're going to Palm Springs, California in March. We're going to the Masters in April. We're taking an Alaskan cruise in 2019. I mean, these are things that we would never been able to afford those things if we socked all our money into a home. That's all we would have had was a home.
So that was pre-COVID travel. And you just saw two ways folks used this product. The first couple sold their home in Westerville, took half the proceeds, built a beautiful new home. They took the other half and paid cash for a condo for their daughter and grandson. So that was important to them. The other couple, obviously, travel is important. So there's no right or wrong. So how do you qualify? Well, you have to be 62 or married to someone 62. It must be your primary residence. And that cash we talked about you bring to closing cannot come from debt. It can be gifted or it can come from any liquidation of an asset. Types of property you can purchase: new or existing single family residences. Condos must be FHA approved. I'm not going to get into the weeds with that right now. There is the ability to do a single unit condo approval, but the condo community must be FHA approved because this is a government insured mortgage. And you can actually purchase a home with this product up to $1,089,300. Now, I have had people purchase $1.2 million homes with this program, but they have to bring the difference between $1,089,300 and 1.2. You're still responsible for your property taxes, your homeowner's insurance, your HOA, and maintenance of the home unless you have an HOA that covers that. The buyers are the only ones on title to the home. I just want to stress that it is a mortgage, just like any other mortgage. The mortgage gets paid back when the house is sold, but the buyers own the home. It's no different than any other mortgage. It's always just paid back when the house is sold. Now, I have there's a lot of misconceptions. The house is still left to your estate. You're on title. The house still goes to your estate. The estate settles it the same way they would any other. They sell the home for market value. They pay off what's owed and they keep the difference. So that's no different than a regular mortgage in that respect. Now, sounds too good to be true. What's the catch? Well, I cannot in 15 minutes tell you everything there is to know about this program, but I can give you a way to get all the details. And that is, you want to go to www.lifestylehomeloan.com. Every Tuesday, we have Zoom seminars at 2 and 5:30. They're an hour and 15 minutes. I walk through the whole program A to Z. My promise to you is by the time you're done with that seminar, you will understand everything there is to know about this program. I get into the weeds with it. So that's my promise to you. The key thing is to get the information. And if you go to lifestylehomeloan.com, you can download the buyer's guide. Our team in Dublin, Ohio, these are all 4 on my team. You can email team@lifestylehomeloan.com and we'll be happy to schedule a time to review it with you over the phone, or you can come to the Zoom seminar. I always recommend the Zoom seminar because I go into a lot of detail. So I hope to be able to share this with anybody on the call today that this would be a good fit for, and I appreciate the time today, Kathy.
Anne Marie, quick question. Can you refinance a home with a HECM?
Yes, you can do a refinance.
Okay. Again, I would recommend if you have any interest at all in this, to attend one of Anne Marie's free seminars that she does on Tuesdays. I will tell you that since I learned about the HECM, which is probably going on 10 years ago, I recommend it. I recommend the class to every over 62 home buyer I meet with. And I tell them it may not be for you. In other words, you may sit through it and you might say, nope, that's not for me, but you owe it to yourself to get the facts, or else you could be missing out on an option that allows you to buy and live in a home that you never thought was on your radar. I jokingly say this I have homeowners who tell me who are enjoying a life and lifestyle they never thought they could have. And 5 and 6 and 7 years later, when I see them at a restaurant or I meet them, they will still go out of their way to thank me for sharing with them this loan program that they never knew existed before. And it has bought them a lifestyle that just is, they're thrilled with. So I say that again, may not be for you, but it doesn't cost anything to sit and listen. And it may absolutely open doors for you. So that is pretty much it for our seminar. If you have any questions, put them quickly in the chat box and we'll get them answered for you. One thing I want to offer to you tonight to thank you for taking your time this evening. Number one, I want to tell you about this book I wrote a couple years ago. I know that for a lot of you, moving into a smaller space means that you just don't even know where to start getting rid of stuff. I put this book together 2 years. It's called Got Stuff, Get Help. It's 100 pages long. You don't have to read it. It's not literature, but it is a guidebook of resources in Central Ohio to sell it, donate it, move it, store it, organize it, or junk it. And so it gives you a good starting point in Central Ohio. So if you want this book, go to downsizecolumbus.com, click on the Got Stuff, Get Help link, and you can buy one there. I'll mail it to you. Just as a thank you for you, if you would put your name in the chat, I'm going to have Brandon, my assistant, watch this. I also put together this guide. It's called Freedom from Stuff. And the reason I put it together was because we have sold hundreds of these books. And as I sit down with homeowners, they say to me, Kathy, we thank you for the resource, but we have no idea where to start. So this is our newest contribution to helping you get rid of stuff. It's called Freedom from Stuff. When you open it, it gives you, and I'm sorry if I can't see this, it gives you a guide for getting rid of stuff. Tells you where to start, identifying what you want to keep, what does your family want, what can you sell, what can you donate, how to throw it away, gives you tips for all of that. And so again, I'd love to put this in the mail to you just to thank you for coming to tonight's seminar. So if you put your name in the chat box, Brandon, wherever you are on here, that would be enough, right? If we have their name, because we have their address, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so just put your name in there. We've got your address if you're in our database, and give me a few days to get caught up, but I'll get this out in the mail to you. And the other thing I would like to say is we would love to come to your home. If you are even thinking about this process of we may want to sell our home, we may want to think of looking into a condo or maybe going to Epcon and looking for a new home, the first step is to let me or someone on my team come to your home and really analyze where you are, to look at what the steps you have to get your home ready. We do not come with listing paperwork and a lockbox. We recognize that you are on sometimes a months-long or year-long journey to get this going. What we want to do is help you with a plan. What does your home need, if anything? What would it sell for in this market? What is the timing? What would you net from your proceeds? What options do you have as you move forward in terms of the kind of housing you want? How much is that housing? And then we get into resources to help you get rid of stuff. So we would love to have that meeting. And so Brandon's going to be calling some of you over the next several days. And if you would like to meet with us, just Brandon can set that up for you, and we'd love to come to your home and just get you on a more personalized track to getting your downsize start. So again, I want to thank all of you. I want to especially thank tonight those of my wonderful expert partners who have taken time on their evening. Debbie, thank you for Epcon. Angie, nice to meet you. I'm glad you weighed in on being a condo president. Carla, good to have you. Arnold, thank you for your expertise. And of course, Anne Marie, always giving us those insights with the purchase. We're so grateful for that. So again, thank you for coming. You can keep putting your questions. Yes, Mary.
No, I was just going to say, I think there's a couple questions that didn't get answered whenever
Okay.
you're ready.
Okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Questions?
Okay. I don't think that this was answered. I did have to grab a phone call, so I apologize if it did. But Debbie, to you, the question Angie asked was, do your new builds have tubs? I have heard that a tub isn't a must anymore.
Yeah, we already answered that one.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had to grab a phone
That's okay.
call. I apologize.
Okay, and Debbie, you did have a comment though about the warranties on a new build, that if you buy new, it's the whole maintenance thing is a completely different picture, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a lot of the stuff is scary when you are purchasing something that is a lot older like that. But when you purchase a new construction home, you've got warranties on your roof for sometimes 35 years and siding, and you don't have any of those concerns. Things breaking down, very few of the new builds cover exterior. So you're not paying for everybody else's repairs. You're only doing your own. And a lot of it, it really makes sense. That's where a new build's going to come in, and you don't have to give you a lot more peace of mind than purchasing something older. It's the same thing as if you buy a new car and it breaks down, you got a warranty on it. If you buy an older car and it breaks down, you have to pay for everything. So kind of the same concept.
Well, and one of the benefits of being 65 is the siding will last longer than you will. So
that's exactly what I'm thinking. None of us on this call should have to worry about it.
Nobody should have to worry about it. It'll be the next person's problem. So you guys are
and I want to just add to the HOA. I mean, having a board in there, it does restrict some of the things, but what it does is it keeps the value of your property. When you have a neighbor now that has trash and cars jacked up, and you don't have to go to the court and fight and be uncomfortable, you've got someone to fight those battles for you, and you don't have to worry about any of those concerns. So it is a plus in many, many ways.
One more thing before we say goodbye, I almost forgot this. We have our next seminar is on June the 13th. It is a live seminar at our office. You guys will be getting an email about it, but we are going to really focus on new builds in Central Ohio. We're bringing to our office representatives from all the major builders. Debbie's coming from Epcon, and we're going to talk about the process of building, what's available. Many of you have probably heard that to buy an existing home, to buy an existing home is very competitive and there's way too many buyers. New build is the way you can put your dibs on a house and wait for it to be done and you know it's yours. So coming up on June 13th at our office at Easton, watch for the email. We'll be having a live seminar with various representatives from builders. You can look at the floor plans, you can look at the pricing, you can see where they're building, and you'll walk away with a great knowledge of building new and what it involves. So we'd love to see you again at that. And then of course, I know it sounds like it's a long way off, but it always sneaks up on us. Downsize Columbus is September 17th, our fall event. Our guest speaker this fall is Amy Cameron O'Rourke. She's coming to us from Florida. She's going to address the emotional side of downsizing, how to let go and move forward to this next phase in your life. So we look forward to seeing all of you there. As a Kathy Chiero, lead agent of the Kathy Chiero Group, we are always thrilled to serve you guys. You are our bread and butter. We love working with the over 55 homeowner, and we are very excited to work with those of you as you make your decisions in years to come. Also, a recording of this seminar will be sent to all of you. We'll be sending out a link so you have a recording of it if you need any of it. So again, thank you everybody. Thank you for a guest. We've got all of you on chat. I did want to clear up because I have some of you on chat. This is not the book I'm going to send you. This you can purchase through downsizecolumbus.com. Go to Got Stuff, Get Help. This is what I'm going to send to you. This is a guide to getting rid of stuff. So we'll be sending this to you. If you wish to purchase the book, you can do so at downsizecolumbus.com. So thank you, everybody. Have a great evening, and I'm sure we'll be talking to all of you soon.